a, s- another variable in the friend class. Say suppose we have a variable known as city inside the friend class, right? And we want that we have, I'll just declare it as public. Okay, now I'll just comment out this main function of the Selenium basics class, and let's move towards the program.cs main function. Okay, so I'll do control plus k plus c to comment the main function, and I'll just uncomment this main function of the program.cs class file. Okay, so now let's work on this class file, right? So we have I have just declared one variable known as city inside the friend class. City friend class has one more variable city, right? Now say suppose we have, I want that we have, say suppose friend f1 lives in the city, say suppose London. Okay, so the city, the value of the city for friend f1, for first friend is city, and we have say suppose second friend also lives in the same city, that is London, right? Now we are just declaring that all the friends are from city London. Now you can, now what will happen inside the memory is that we have two objects with us, f1 and f2, right? F1 class, f1 object has two variables before that were name and phone. Similarly with f2 also we have two variables for name and phone number. And now when we have declared city inside the friend class, then city will also be present for both of the objects, in both of the objects. Okay, and we have assigned the value to the city as London in both the friends object, right? Right, now as we all know that all the friends are from city London itself. Now instead of declaring the London city for every friend, what we do is that we will declare the city variable as static. Okay, so what does static mean is that static means a common thing which is common for all the objects. We can just declare that as static. Okay, so now say suppose we have one function also inside the friend class. Say I have a function public static void, say print city, and I just print the city of the friend inside the function. Okay, so now inside the main class, how will we call this static functions and the static variables? Static functions and static variables cannot be just declared with the object reference, and then you can just pass on the value. They cannot be declared as like that. Okay, so no need to call them with the objects. So how to call them, how to access the static variables is that we access the static variables with the name of the class. That is, I write friend.city is equal to London. Okay, and then when you print the city for each and every friend, you will have the value for the city as London. Say I print the city. Okay, and when I run my code, so here you see that it gives you the value for the city as London, right? So what I mean to say is that in order to access the static variables, you no need to call them with the objects. Whatever you have made static inside a class or anywhere, you no need to access with the name of the object, with the object that you have declared for a particular class. You can directly access them with the name of the class, that is friend.city. Okay, so did you understand the concept of static?
Yeah, so I understand the concept, but what I'm thinking is then the static variables belongs to the class, not to the object, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so I just meant to say that since we know that every friend lives in the city London, I know that every friend has come from city London, then why do I need to keep it inside every object? Like as I told you, when we declared a city variable inside the friend class, then every object which we will be initializing, in each and every object we will be having the city variable, right? So instead of initializing city variable in each and every object, I will just keep them at a common location inside a class which will be city, and then we can just access them with the name of the class itself, not with the objects. Okay, so city would be the common thing for all the classes, and in order to access that variable you can simply declare it as static and it will be easily accessible to you,
All right.
right? So we have just kept the city variable at a common location which can be easily accessed by anyone anywhere. Okay, so city becomes the property of the class, not the objects. Okay, so you can just say that static things are part of the class, not the objects. It can be accessed with the class itself, that is friend, not no need to access them with the objects that we have initialized. Okay, so but generally we will be using the non-static things when we will be working with the WebDriver, Selenium and all, right? So I just told you the basic concept of static, that what is a static and non-static, right?
Okay.
Okay, so now the next question arises is that everything has a driver, that is the Firefox driver, Chrome driver, IE driver, Safari driver, Opera driver, everything has a driver. So then will you be learning driver classes separately? If I have to say suppose work on the Firefox, will my commands and approach be different than if I have to work on Chrome or Internet Explorer? Will I have to create these objects separately? What if a single script can run on multiple browsers? Okay, so now we will be moving towards that question, that how will we do that. Okay, so now few questions to be addressed next is that now before answering to this question, I'll just I'll just move towards the concept of interfaces.
Okay.
Okay, so like just I was telling you that instead, that as you know that everything has a driver, instead of learning the scripts for each and every browser, for each and every driver, what we do is that we use the concept of interfaces there. Okay, so like just I told you that what if a single script I have to run on multiple browsers, then how can we do that? This is addressed under the interfaces topic. Okay, now say for example if I go to a bookstore, you see the front cover over there and the back cover, then from there only you judge it that what this book offers to you, what by just seeing the index or the front cover and the back cover you can just make it clear that what that book offers to you and whether it is suitable to you or not, right? Or if you go to a restaurant, then you just see the menu card and you don't know ultimately that how it's going to be, how that's going to be taste, how will it taste. So that menu is like an interface. Okay, right? So similarly in the interfaces also, what interfaces describe what the project will do, what all commands and features will be there inside in project, right? Say for example if we go to the official website of Selenium as well, that is seleniumhq.org, right? If we look at the documentation of C#, that is C# API docs, right? So over here you can see that there are a lot many interfaces that we have inside the C# class. Okay, now say for example we have one interface that is say we have this I mouse interface with us. Okay, now iMouse interface, as you can see over here, that various functions are there inside this mouse interface. That is the click function, context click, double click, mouse down, mouse move. These many are the functions with the mouse interface that comes with the mouse interface. In order to click, we have the click function, then double click, then mouse down. Right, now how they will be implemented, you just don't know. So what this interface describes you, it just describes what the mouse functionalities look like. Right, we have, as you can see, that we have these many functionalities with the mouse interface. Okay, so interface help you know what system does. For example, the keyboard provides an interface with the buttons. It presses the buttons and something happens on the screen. So how it happens internally, we just don't know. Right, so similarly in interfaces, similarly in C# also we have the interface. Right, so let's now just implement interfaces in our console application in C#. Right, so I'll just add a new project. I'll just show it in a new project. We'll create a new project. Second day. Right, so we have this main function with us, program.cs file. Now what I'll do is that I'll add an interface inside this project. Okay, so we right click on the project, click select add new item, and then inside this we have the interface with us. Right, now say suppose I add an interface known as phone interface. Right, so we have this phone interface with us. Now first thing which we will be discussing in the interface is that interfaces has function declaration only, no implementation is there inside the interface. That is, you write void, just a minute, void, say suppose a phone has the functionalities of calling. Right, so we have a function known as void call. Similarly, we have another function, void text. Okay, so what a phone offers to you, it has the functionalities of calling and texting. Right, so we have just declared two functions inside the interface. Now just like as I told you that a phone has only the function declaration, no implementation is there inside an interface. Now if a layman comes and sees this interface, he will come to know that a phone offers these functionalities to you. Right, so what this phone is offering to you. Right, so if I say suppose I just, if I declare this function inside the interface, now say suppose if I write console.writeLine Selenium inside it, and now if I run my code, you will see an error. It says that interface members cannot have a definition. Right, so this is what I just told you, that and in an interface it has only function declaration. You cannot implement an interface, implement a function inside an interface. Right, so this is one thing. And second thing is that interfaces, the functions inside the interfaces do not have the access specifiers with it. If I declare it, if I specify the access specifier with it, and now when I run my code, you will get an error. It says that the modifier public is not valid for this item. That means you do not have the access specifiers inside the interfaces. These are by default public only. You do not need to initialize, you do not need to have any access specifier with the interface. Right, this was the second point. And the third point is that, sorry,
can we declare the method as an abstract inside the interface?
I'll tell you that also. Just be with me. How can we declare the functions? If we have just in an interface, we can just declare the function. We cannot implement, right? And how will we implement? I'll just tell you. Okay, so I just told you 2 points, that we cannot have the declaration and no access specifiers. And the third point is that no fields can be initialized inside an interface. So if I declare a variable inside in an interface, and now when I run my code, it will again give you an interface. It says that interfaces cannot contain fields. Okay, now if I in a class, if I declare an variable, and just comment this, and now when I run, you will not see any error. Like in a class we can declare the fields, in an interface we cannot declare the fields. Okay, right, so I just told you three points of the interface, right? So did you understand? Any doubts?
Yeah. Okay, so coming back to the example of the Selenium docs that you are showing to me.
Yes.
So yeah, there are some methods like click, context click, double click, mouse down. So
Yes.
if this is an interface, then where is the implementation defined for this particular method?
These are just the functionalities of the mouse interface, right? If you click on this click functionality, you will see that it over here, you can see that how is click declared. It is only declared, it is not implemented. Void click, and no access specifier is there before the click function.
Okay.
Can you see?
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand that how, I mean, these methods are defined, but how the methods are basically, I mean, where is the body of this method?
I'll just tell you that also. I'm just telling you that only right now.
Okay.
Okay, so as I told you that we have this phone interface. Okay, okay,
Yeah.
right. So now say suppose I have a class inside this project. Say suppose I have a class known as Nexus class with me. Just a minute. Now we know that Nexus is a phone, right? Nexus is a phone. Now all the properties, all the functions that we have inside the phone interface, these both properties are also there inside the Nexus phone, right? So instead of declaring both the functions again inside the Nexus class, what we do is that we will implement that phone interface inside the Nexus class. Okay, so if when we will implement this phone interface in the Nexus class, all the properties, all the functions which are there inside the phone interface will be accessible in the Nexus class. Now how will it be accessible? I'll just tell you. Right now, in order to implement the phone interface, what you do is that all the functions which are declared inside the phone interface, we will define them inside the Nexus class. We will implement those functions. That is, we have first function as call function, right? So I'll just implement that and say suppose I simply write Nexus calling, right? And similarly we have another function inside the phone interface, that is text function. Okay, and I write Nexus text. Right, so the properties, the functions that we have declared inside this phone interface are will now be easily we have defined those inside the Nexus class, which implements the phone interface. Now, okay,
Yeah.
so now did you understand what you were asking?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, so we have this one class, that is Nexus class. Say suppose I have another class that is one more class. Say suppose I have iPhone class. I declare one another class iPhone. Okay, now inside, now iPhone also has the feature of calling and texting, right? So iPhone will also implement the phone interface, right? So now, as I told you, that we need to define those functions that we have declared inside the phone interface. We need to define those functions inside the classes that will implement the phone interface, right? So like we have the call and the text function declared inside the phone interface. So we have declared them, we need to define those functions inside the classes, right? So simply you can write the you can define those functions, or what you can do is that if you take your mouse to this phone interface, you just click on this down arrow and you can select implement interface phone, and then automatically both the functions, all the functions will be implemented inside the iPhone class. Okay, and then you can simply write your code over here. So you can write iPhone calling and iPhone text. Okay,
Yeah.
right. Now as I'll just tell you that we have this phone interface with us, right? Which has two functions inside it, that is the call and the text function, right? So now then we have two classes with us, that is the iPhone class and the Nexus class with us, and the Nexus class. So now what all functions we have declared inside the phone interface, both these functions are defined inside the classes, that is the call function and the text function. And similarly iPhone class also have these functions, since it also implements the phone interface, right? Now what is the need of this phone interface? You can just remove this phone interface, and then you can simply create the Nexus and the iPhone class. What is the basic need of this phone interface? Why we are using the phone interface? Right, now the reason is that if suppose a new class comes up, if suppose a new class comes up, say suppose we have another class with us, that is the, say, a Samsung class. Okay, it also has the functionalities of calling and texting, right? It also has a call and the text properties with it. Now it will, since this, it also has the same functionalities of the call, and it will also implement the phone interface. Now if a layman comes, he will understand easily that these two classes are present for sure. If we will implement the phone interface inside the Samsung class as well, he will easily understand that this Samsung class will also have the property, will also have these two classes with it, that is the call and the text properties, right? So right, so this is the basic usage of the interfaces, that you do not need to declare the functions again and again inside every class which you will initialize. You just need to implement that interface. You can simply declare create one interface and can implement in multiple classes, so that everything that is there inside the interface will be easily accessible in all the classes. Okay, probably the implementation may differ. We know that how an interface, how of iPhone works and how the Nexus phone works. Both of their implementation may differ, but the functionalities is same as of sure. Okay, we all know that the way Nexus calls and the way iPhone calls, both are different, but the functions name will be same, that is the call and the text functions.
Okay.
Okay, so it's so like in C sharp, in Selenium also, in Selenium as well, the interfaces are used in the same context, as if we look at the, like as I told you that we have this mouse interface with us inside the Selenium. Okay, this mouse interface, like these are the functionalities that we have declared inside the mouse interface: click, context click, double click, and then we can simply access these functions inside any class that will have these properties. Similarly, we have the WebDriver interface also inside the, like you can see that we have this WebDriver interface, and this WebDriver interface has all these properties with it, that is the title, URL, page source, quit function, then switch to function, find element, right? And all the driver classes, like as I told you that I'll just explain you the Selenium. When I explained you the Selenium basics class, we know that we just studied that all the driver classes has the same functionality of a URL, right? We just saw yesterday or on Friday that in all the driver classes, that is the Firefox driver, Chrome driver, all the driver classes did have the URL property with them, right? uh, did you remember?
Yeah.
Alright, yeah. Okay, so like I'll just explain you again.
So what I'm understanding is this driver interface is again implemented by the specific classes of the browser, like Firefox, Chrome, and
Yes, yes, Firefox, Chrome, Internet Explorer,
so we
all the
pass
y-
we
is
pass the browser object to the driver interface, and that driver interface may also implement the mouse interface, right?
Yes, yes, yes. So all the driver classes, like all the driver classes will implement this WebDriver interface.
Okay.
Okay, like I'll just tell you once again. Say I'll just include the Selenium DLLs from the Nugget package manager. That is the WebDriver DLLs. I'll just click on install. I'll also okay, so we have included the Selenium DLLs, and now say I'll just create the object of the Firefox driver class. Okay, and now if suppose I want to take this browser to the URL, that is we have the URL property. Just a minute. Fr it is equal to, I'll just declare the URL to the google.com website. Okay, now it is important to declare the protocol in when you are declaring the URL. When you are declaring the URL, just write the protocol also, because other if you are not giving the protocol, you will get an error, right? So just mention the protocol as well when you are initializing the URL property. Okay, so as we know that this Firefox driver has the property of URL with it. Now similarly, the Chrome browser also has this same property of URL. That is, if we declare the Chrome driver class, now cd dot url, you will also you see that this Firefox and the Chrome driver both has the functionality of URL with it, right? So that is what I was telling you, that all the driver classes will implement the WebDriver class. That is, say if I take this to the yahoo.com website, right? So the same URL function is present in both the classes, that is the Firefox and the Chrome driver, because both are implementing the WebDriver interface, this WebDriver interface. So all the functionalities which are there inside the WebDriver interface will be accessible in all the classes that will implement the WebDriver interface. Okay, since as you just saw that I'll just included the WebDriver DLLs from the Nugget package manager, and then all the classes, all the functions which are there inside the WebDriver class, which are there inside the WebDriver interface, will be easily accessible inside the driver classes, inside all the classes that will implement the WebDriver interface. Okay, so everything is inbuilt, the APIs are inbuilt, we just need to understand and just access them according to our requirement. Right, so WebDriver has the URL function inside it, which can be easily used in every class like we are doing it over here. Okay,
so each of these class of Firefox and Chrome has defined the method of iWebDriver, right?
yes, all of them implements the WebDriver interface.
So whatever is method signatures available in iDriver interface, these classes has defined those implementation.
Yes, and everything has been done inbuilt, we just don't need to worry that how this is all going on. Everything is done inbuilt, everything is internally being done, we are just accessing those functions and implementing in our project.
Right.
Right. Okay, and similarly we, as you can see that we also have the function of quit also in the WebDriver interface. So in order to quit your browser, you can simply write, say suppose you write fr dot quit. Okay, you can simply quit your browser as well, and it is necessary to quit your browser also. Whenever you are opening your browser, just make sure that you are closing your browser as well. Okay, because I'll just tell you, I'll just comment out this. Okay, and now when I run my code, okay, I'll just, yeah, so it will open the Firefox browser and will take you to the google.com website. Right, and it closes your browser as well. Okay, so if suppose we don't close this browser, and now if I run my code again, okay, so it opens the browser, takes you to the gmail.com website, and now if I open the task manager, so over here you see that every time we are opening the browser, all of them will have you will see that the exe files of the Firefox driver will occupy some space inside your system. So it is necessary to quit your browser so that the exe files stops running, and there is no unnecessary space being used up in your system. Okay, so so it's always a good practice to quit your browser as well whenever you are opening the browser, so that no unnecessary space is being utilized, is being used in your system. Okay, so quit is, as I told you, that quit is also present inside the WebDriver class. You just need to access them in the driver classes that you will be implementing.
Right.
Right. Okay, so this is the main advantage of the interface is that the functions are same in all the implementing classes. The functions that we have declared inside the interfaces, all the classes which will implement that interface, all the functions will be there inside that class. The functions will be same in all the implementing classes, that is the call and the text function that are declared inside the interfaces. Okay, now the second, okay, so this is the first usage, and the second usage is that suppose if we talk about a problem, say suppose we have a Gmail class with us, say suppose we have this Gmail website with us. You want to enter the username inside this field, and you want to run this script in all the three browsers, that is the Chrome, Firefox and the Internet Explorer drivers, right? So how will you do that? How will you write the same script? Will you write the same script for all the browsers? No, we will not be doing that. We will just write a single script and will access them in all the three browsers. Okay, so how will we do that? So I'll just tell you tomorrow. Okay,
Yeah.
right. So anything you want to ask in today's topic?